Here we go. Annoyingly, my webcam resets all the damn time, so I have to get that jiggered up. I think that should make us all ready to go. So welcome to this week's installment of the Microjam. Can't even remember what we did last week. I think we actually fixed up the slicing bits, so that actually works, like properly works now, which is cool. Look at that, just beautiful. One thing I've noticed is that early on, when I was putting the physics engine in here, I ripped out the stuff that made it frame rate independent. I think I'm gonna have to put that back in because it's really sluggish while I'm streaming. My computer doesn't really like streaming that much. But I don't know if you saw before the stream, I was running around in the background here. I actually went to the store today and bought a new computer. So in the future, that will be a non-problem. But still, like, people have slow computers and stuff. So it's something I'm going to have to deal with eventually. So that's one thing we could do today. Another thing is today's stream is going to be, it's not going to be more than an hour and a half, that's for sure, because I have to go to a meeting. That's why I had to move the stream, but we'll deal with that once we get there. Another thing we could do today, because the frame rate independence, that's not very fun. I mean, I suppose we have to do it at some point anyway, but we could also do visuals, or like hooking up so that I can actually put graphics on this, because like the debug rendering is cool and everything, but I don't want the game to look like this. Like when it's like, this is not the look I had in mind. There's also a third thing we could do. Like I was every week since I started this game, pretty much I've been talking about the flocking, and that's something I talked about like at the very end of last episode too, I think. Making it so that the asteroids stay at like a good distance from each other. Maybe that's something we could fool around with today. That seems like fun. I probably won't be done with that today, but it's something we could get into. And then after that, I think I'm going to want to do controls, but that's probably going to be next week. It's not official yet, but so I can't say what's happening. But next week there's going to be a lot more streaming, that's for sure. And this might actually take the step from stupid prototype into actual game. But we'll see about that. There's still time to fail before that. But I think, yeah, the flocking, keeping the distance thing is worth looking into, I think. Well, the question is, how do I do that? So I'm thinking I would want to take a look at the debug draw stuff and see what's actually shape, joint, center of mass, controller bit. What the hell is controller bit? Render that, see what that is. Apparently it's not something we're using. Okay, so let's make a little function here called I don't want to call it space asteroids. I mean, it does space out the asteroids, but that's just a stupid name. let's call it that. Space asteroids. Another problem that we're going to be running into is right now I'm just chucking everything into the physics engine. There's really nothing discerning. Oh, hey, a new subscriber. Konpion? Welcome. I'm not really keeping track of what is an asteroid, which object is the player and stuff like that. I'm not keeping track of that at all. Which is going to become a problem because right now, like in the slicing code, I have a special little piece of code that actually doesn't slice the player. It doesn't know that it's the player. But it just, it detects that the player is of the wrong object type and it won't slice the player. I'm burning my hands so much dealing with my tea right now. Distribute asteroids. You are correct, Richard. That's a way better function name. Pigeon Soda, also subscribing. Welcome. Distribute asteroids. But let's question is we have to deal with that at some point anyway. So I have the concept of an actor here. I'm going to add an asteroid that extends actor, because before long we're going to need a list of all the asteroids anyway, so we might as well. Wait, why are you not highlighting? Is this the wrong package? No. Yes, it is. Hey, Nikolai GD. Also welcome. So an asteroid object is going to need, like the main thing everything's going to revolve around is the physics objects. And if I'm not misremembering, it's a B2 body, right? So the actor, which this is a class I normally use, will take a body argument, and all our actors will have bodies. That's something I have decided just now. I decided that. And that is going to have the same access as everything else. This means, I've probably said this before, but this means that it's readable from the outside, but not writable. So essentially read-only from the outside, which is like we don't want anybody swapping out the body without this object knowing about it. It's mostly like we could remember that by ourselves, but it's mostly to keep ourselves from doing something silly. Could probably, I don't know. And then now this gives us the problem of there being two separate objects. There's the physics object and there's like the actor object. And mostly we're going to be, like the game's mostly going to be interacting with the actor object. But the trick is we got to remember which one we can destroy, or like, so say we destroy the physics objects, what happens to the actor object? Does it also go away, or should we always destroy the actor object? I'm thinking we should always destroy the actor object. So we'll do something like, we have some code for removing things from the world, which I think is in the laser class right now, which is a little bit weird. No, it's just destroy body. That's pretty. That makes sense. So body, can I get the world from that? I can. body, you get world, destroy body, and then we'll set the body to nothing. So if body is something, we'll destroy it and go on our merry way. Am I going to make the graphics on stream as well? Yes, I am. I'm going to make everything on stream for this game. That's the plan anyway. So not graphics today, but I will maybe do that next week. I might cheat a little tiny bit and have a plan beforehand, but I'm going to do everything of value on the stream. Okay, we were doing, yes, we're making an object for this. So that this is also means that create asteroid shouldn't return a B2 body, it should return an asteroid. It's debatable whether this should maybe go inside the 10.1.7.7.1.1.1.1.7.7. That took a while. 1177. Welcome. It's debatable whether this should maybe go inside the actual asteroid, but we can deal with that as it comes. So create asteroid. We'll create an asteroid. Blah 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 blah. So we don't want to return the body. We want to return a new asteroid, which then takes body as an argument. And then we need to fix this. So it goes super body. And this takes body. That is a B2 body. A lot of boilerplate stuff for this, but that's the way it has to be. And now it's, of course, upset because create asteroid now suddenly returns an asteroid. So now it's going to be asteroid body. We're not interested in that. Maybe, just maybe this was a little bit excessive, but I mean, I could have stored body in a local variable. And asteroid set position. Am I giving them a random spin when they spawn? I wasn't even aware. It's probably not even working though. I have cookies. It's pretty great. Let's see if this still runs. It does. I'm thinking we'll do the laser as well. Because this right now this operates on B2 bodies, and that's not excellent because the laser needs to destroy stuff. So one thing you can do in Box 2D is on a B2 body you can store a reference to something, anything. And I'm thinking that would be an excellent place to store the actor reference. So when I am generate asteroid, create asteroid here. So I'm making a body. So here maybe, like the actor can do this itself. So it goes body, sets user data, I think, this. That means we can get back the relevant actor if we have like they're interconnected now. Hopefully this should not be an issue. Seems to work. So in the laser, instead, so it goes fire, just a bunch of debug draw stuff. Here it goes hit fixture. Oh, it's operating on fixtures anyway. Let's do this a little bit for now. So we go body, get user data. Like that. We'll see. This might not work super great. It did. That's cool. I think if we do this, it might not be so good. Yeah. So something we should probably do way earlier. Like up here. Did I just copy the wrong stuff? So up here we go if not is body. No, we have to get the body first. Do that. If the so if we're trying to slice something that's not an asteroid, we just bail. And we might make this more clever later on, because maybe we want to have enemies that you can slice or something. Oh, hey, that didn't work. Interesting. Why not? Oh. That's clumsy. I got the programmer eyes though, so I'll be fine. Yeah, that works. Can't slice the player, can't slice that. And this row right here, make sure that we are actually slicing a polygon shape, because that's the only type of shape we support right now. This code wouldn't know what to do if we tried to slice a circle, because they're stored differently. That's good. Let's commit that, I think. Or maybe we'll do a little bit more first. So we're going to have a list of the asteroids as well. Asteroids, that is going to be a collection. Of asteroid. Import that. Somewhere around here, let's make it. Well, we can do it here. Doesn't really matter. And this is basically just a list. Here, and then we go asteroids clear. This, since I can run reset at any time, I have to deal with this. This is running the first time, and it might also be like the 5th time you're playing the game, so there might be stuff in it, so we have to empty that first. Not entirely sure what this order of operations is going to do to things, but we'll see. And then we make a bunch of asteroids. So instead of doing that, we do asteroids add acid like that. So we're putting them into that collection, and because of the way this expects things to work, we can do asteroids update. Like that. So this will update function will run an update on everything that's in the collection. And if anything has the is alive flag set to false, the item will be removed. And that would, like when I run the kill function, like here in the laser. Where are you? Here. At the very end here. This will flag it for removal the next time that update loop comes around. This should still work. Class not found. It is pretty stupid to have this named without an S. Well, that seems to work. Resetting also seems to work. It doesn't seem to mind destroying something in the world twice. Seems happy about that. So that's cool. We don't have to deal with that. Unless it's like doing something evil in the background that that's going to come back to bite us later. But I think that's probably fine. Now, distribute asteroids. I'm thinking this main class is getting to have a lot of stuff. Let's do this. Asteroid collection. Asteroid collection extends collection of asteroid. And we'll put this function on here instead. You can hide it away a little bit. So we'll make this an asteroid collection, and we'll get rid of that. Import that, and we have a constructor down here. Okay, cool. So for now, like this probably won't need to run every frame, but we can run it every frame for now. Now it doesn't even need to be named distribute asteroids. Just name it distribute. See if that runs. Just run. That's nice. Pew, 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 pew. That's cool. I really like slicing them up. One day I'm gonna have to add the slicing stuff to the actual spaceship. It's gonna be a sad day because it's really awesome to do it with a mouse. It's worth considering having it on the mouse. Since that's so much fun. Like it feels really like mess these asteroids up. Feels really good. Could feel even better with some like cool effects and stuff on it. Oh, hey Sven. This is the Asteroid game. It doesn't even have a name. But that's happened to be what I ended up with when I was randomly working on shit. But yeah, distributing asteroids. So there's a number of ways we can do this. I'm thinking the physics engine might have a way to query for adjacent objects, because let me draw a little bit. Set that to black and that to white. It's important to draw on a black background. So I have an asteroid here, right? Oh, hey, a subscriber. Who is it? Kidpool7. Welcome to the club. Great having you. So I have an asteroid here. I have an asteroid here. An asteroid here. I think I drew this last week, but what the hell? We can make do with some repetition. So for every asteroid, like for this asteroid, I want to check the distance to this one, to that one, and to that one. No biggie there. And I want to keep the ones that are close enough so I can push myself away from them. Or go closer to them. I don't know. But the thing is, when I get to the next asteroid, say this one, I don't have to do this because I already did this particular little piece of math already. So there's no sense in doing that. This asteroid will only care about these two guys. Like that. And this asteroid, the last one, finally, already has like the colors in this program are super freaking weird. Or the controls are super freaking weird. So for this asteroid, I've already done the math for 2 of the asteroids, and that means I only have 1 remaining. So it's like I'm going to do it like in a staggered way. Like if it was a list, you view it from the side. Like say I have a list of asteroids here. It's 1 asteroid, 2 asteroids, 3 asteroids, 4 asteroids. And I want to compare this to the very same list. It's going to be the first one. It's going to be across. No, it doesn't need to be across because there's no sense in comparing with yourself. So I don't want to go across. I want to start 1 lower, and I want to go to every one. For this, which is the same as this one, I want to start 1 lower again because these 2 already have that connection because it happens here. So I want to start like here and go 1 lower. It's very, very bad of me to not use the same colors when I'm drawing over here. This guy is going to want to go not over here, but down here. And that's that. Like that's all of the connections, I think. Which I think I illustrated over here. So the last one is just going to do 1 check for nearby asteroids. This might get super heavy if we have like thousands and thousands of asteroids, because this increases exponentially. So adding 1 more, like already this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checks for 4 asteroids. If I add 1 more asteroid over here, we're going to get another green one, get another orange one. That's 2 more. And we're going to get another blue one. It's 3 more. And then this guy needs to do checks all of a sudden. So that's 4 more. So by adding 1 more asteroid, I added the same number of checks as there already were asteroids. So for every asteroid I add from now, like if I add asteroid number 6, it's going to take 5 more checks. And so on. So like asteroid going from 99 asteroids to 100 asteroids is going to be a way, way bigger deal because it stacks on exponentially. But we don't need to worry about that right now. We just do it that way. And if it turns out to be a problem, we can come back and change it. I hope you can hear me chewing really well. So for this, we want to do for I in this will, like this collection class has a, oh shit, it's a list. That's not going to work. I have to do this differently. This would be really easy with an array, but it's a list. that has other, like it's a linked list basically. It has other advantages, but we can't access any one object from it. So how do we do this? For A in collection, so let's do something like we'll keep a boolean that's called doCheck, and we'll name that false. And then we do for B in collection, if doCheck is false and A is not equal to B, then we continue. If A is equal to B, then we set doCheck to true. Actually do it that way around. That's smarter. So if A is the same as B, we set this flag to true. If this flag is false, or if these two are the same, we just skip to the next one. This is making our checking distance loop even a little bit heavier than it was before, but that's the way it has to be right now. We can change that later if we need to. But this will essentially just run the loop really fast until we get up to the place where we want to be. So then we can do distance. And then we do asteroid body get world center. Oh shit, you're talking in the chat. Do you stream game dev a lot or every so often? I stream every Thursday for now, but next week there's going to be more. And now you want food. Yes, you do. Food is good for you. So now I got the position of the two asteroids. I'm going to calculate the distance, which is unsurprisingly going to be, how do I do this? A pause, subtract. I think that should be fine. B pause. Or actually, I don't even need to do that. I can probably just do distance. Yes, here we go. A pause, B pause. I have the distance between them. If the distance is less than an arbitrary number, we consider them close together and then we want to push them apart, or we can consider them too far apart and we want to pull them together or something. So I'm thinking every asteroid has a list called near, which has a bunch of asteroids in it. No. And for now, we can just check if they are close enough, and then we'll add them together. And now I have forgotten what the size of things is. Well, let's just make an arbitrary. Actually, I have one in here. I don't? No, I didn't. If distance is less than, I don't want it squared. I want that one. If this is less than, let's say 5, we consider them a pair. So let's do it this way instead. So if distance is bigger than 5, we just go to the next asteroid because there's nothing more here to do. One other thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do this. For every asteroid, we're going to have to really, like before we start, we have to clear the list of asteroids that they have near them. Do that. So that's going to be the first pass, and then we can add them on as we find them. So we go A, near, bear, B, oops, B near at A. And this is probably going to need some debug rendering, but we can do that out in the main class for now. How long have you been working on this? I've been working on this. This is the 4th time, I think. A 4th stream, so including, so it's probably like 5 or 6 hours now. So not very long. I mean, it takes a long time to do things on stream. So if settings, physics, blah, 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 render, debug. Let's just do it in here. For asteroid in asteroids. And then just steal this little piece of code for near in asteroid near. Then we go asteroid body gets world. We get world center. Yeah. This is going to have some other issues. It's going to draw every line twice, but that's fine for us right now. And I want to draw a line in some funky color. That color. That's a really good color. So I want to move it to asteroid pulse. Same thing here. Near pulse. Same thing for this guy. I think that should be fine. We'll see. Am I actually running it? Yes, I am. Oh, did I set it too low? There's so many things that can be wrong here. So very many things that could be wrong. Let's go to debug mode. Or actually, before we start debugging, let's just try. Try really long distance. Okay, that didn't work. Let's go to debug town. For asteroid in collection, it's probably this do check bit that's not working. So this first one should run into itself immediately. So do check is in fact true, and it's red up here, which means it changed the last step. That should blah blah blah. Yeah, gives us the second iteration of the loop. That is fine now. We get the positions, we get the distance. We add them to the lists. Okay, so that bit is actually working. How's this bit doing? That seems to be fine. Asteroid position seems to be fine. Wait a minute. When am I actually clearing the graphics? Where does that happen? Does this guy do that? Yeah, it does. This has got a near position too. Okay, this is alarming. These two numbers should not be the same. Or maybe they can be. No, they can't. Aha, look at that. Debugger saves the day once again. How many projects am I typically working on at once? Oh, look at that. A couple. Ideally one, but that's normally not the way it works out. So this is like this Asteroid game is sort of like a little side project that I have. So why didn't these guys get to join the club? It's because they're not added to the asteroid list, probably. It goes create asteroids with vertices, return new asteroid body. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. So I have to do asteroids, add. It's a good thing I like typing the word asteroid. I wonder how many times that's in this. It's 30 times in this text file. That is barely 300 lines. Just under. So once every 10 lines. That means up here in the reset function, I don't have to do that anymore. So that's cool. Now this distance thing is obviously way too, it's too much. Now this sort of illustrates how many comparisons it actually makes. Like this, there's a lot of them. Pretty quickly. Like, and if I start doing this, you can see that it just goes crazy. But luckily for us, we don't have to run this all that often. And it might not, this might not even be the best way to do it. We'll see, but we'll lower this again to 5 or something. Excuse me. Already this looks a lot saner. I mean, it's still doing all those comparisons, but this, like the way I had in mind for doing this would be because they're going to need to both attract and push away. Oh man, my voice is just destroyed. It's fine. It's not like I need to be talking or anything. So these are going to need to both like attract and repel each other. So having it locked down on distance only maybe isn't that super good of an idea. We'll see. At least we want to keep them a little bit apart. I wonder if there's a way I can get like the radius of something, because I just want the approximate size of an object. Let's take a look in the manual. I could do it on this screen. Because it's not a circle shape, right? Oops, I get it. It's the good thing I have Google to fix things for me. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, hey, I can get fixture lists. Does that give me a fixture? And then on that fixture, can I get a radius? No. Why can't I? Get shape, get radius? No. This is a very angry little message here. You can create a shape however you like, blah, 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 blah. This does not give me a shape back. Okay, B2 fixture. Get shape gives me a B2 shape. B2 shape has a member called radius. What? Oh, it's private. That's very practical. No, it's not. It's public. I'm probably not supposed to be fiddling with it, but we'll see what this does and see if it gives us something. Richard, I don't really care that much about performance right now. I mean, I can do the square root thing for this, but I don't care right now. Let's just trace this out, see what this does. Either it crashes or it gives us something. They're all 0.005. That seems a bit far-fetched, doesn't it? Let's put it up here instead. We'll trace a little bit less. If I just start chopping these guys to pieces. I don't think that's giving us something that is actually related to the real world. Oh well. Let's just ignore that for now and try to keep them at a fixed distance then. So I'm thinking Every asteroid has a thing called public var distribute force, maybe. That is a v2 vector. And this will get applied to them every frame. And then we can update this as often or as rarely as we want to. I think 5 is a pretty good distance. So then we go now I need to get the vector between them. So I can skip this distance thing, or no, just do Hey, Arc Games. You're not late today, but I am early instead, so you're still not winning, but I'd say you're doing pretty well anyway. So we got that, and then we can just do vector length. And then we can, for this, we probably want to normalize this vector. Let's do that for now. This, yeah. So now we have this. This is the sort of the relative angle between the two asteroids, and we're going to want to push them apart or pull them together, depending on the distance. We're just going to try to push them apart right now. See how that looks. So for this thing, we're going to need to clear that force thing as well. So A, distribute force. Did it have a set 0? It did. That's very practical. So A, distribute force is going to get this added onto it. And then we need to rotate the vector 180 degrees, which means multiplying it by -1. We do that, vector multiply -1, and then for this guy, we add that as well. This still won't actually do anything. So in the update function for the asteroid, we can go body apply force. I can never ever remember which one it is. Let me shake. It's impulse. And then we apply that at the center. This is I'm not entirely sure what this is gonna do. It is going to give us an error here. Apply impulse. Oh, right, because we're not. This needs to be instantiated. New B2 back. Look at them go. Moving apart. That's pretty cool. Rather chaotic. So what happens now is that there's no real limit. So something being near 2 asteroids will make it move twice as fast, which is maybe not something we want. So maybe we want to limit that force. Still pretty, seems to be working pretty well. Might be easier to see if we try it with fewer asteroids. Let's try it with 2. Going apart. And they seem to be both moving apart, which is also good. It's not like one asteroid moving away from the other one. They are actually moving away from each other. So, now I'm thinking we'll get rid of this and we will do something like, so if distance is do and I don't think we're going to keep these near lists. So if distance is bigger than 6, we want to attract. Else if distance is smaller than, let's say if distance is bigger than 8, we want to attract. If distance is smaller than 6, we want to repel. Do it that way, maybe clearer. And if it's neither, like if it's in between that, we just do nothing and we just skip ahead to the next one. Could I give a quick rundown of the game concept? Yes, I can. Just give me 1 second. So if I want, right now they're repelling. So if I want to attract, I just need to invert this once more for this. Do nothing. That's on purpose. Let's see what that does. That didn't really work the way I thought it would. Oh, it's because I didn't flip that one. Silly me. Repel. Attract. They are like it's adding that in pretty quickly, so they are actually accelerating a little bit too much together because these guys are going to be bouncing like this now forever. What? Oh. So if body is null, just return. Maybe even fix that. The actual source is a smarter thing. So it runs the update first, and then it checks if it's alive. I'm going to do something like this. If item is not alive, it will remove the item, and it will continue. Did I do something wrong again? I think I did. Oops. If distance is smaller than 8, attract. If distance is... No, if distance is bigger than 8, attract. If distance is smaller than 6. It totally means that, Arc Games. Don't try to throw me off. Maybe if I don't have a dead zone in the center, we do like that. Lots of commented code here now. That's confusing. They are still pretty aggressive in trying to maintain some sort of do 1/10 of the force then. Moving apart, moving apart, moving apart, moving apart. And now, kind of, they should hit the limit and they should start moving back together. Yeah, we can fix this if we add some kind of like variable force depending on how far away they are. So now if I add a third asteroid, like this is way, way over. It's running so slow. It's like they have some kind of weird gravity now. It's rather mesmerizing. I'm thinking we're going to have to actually normalize the total force on every asteroid as well after we're done. I think I can do it here. So if let's just trace out the distribute force. To see what we're dealing with. It's a function. Of course, it's a function. It's 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Kind of, yeah. That's cool. So we can just get rid of that because we're going to scale it down later anyway. And then we do, oops, something like if a distributed force length is bigger than 0.05, we will can I it's a pity I can't normalize to any length, but we'll do it in 2 steps. This should make the force a lot weaker. And it shouldn't stack, I think. Yeah, this is going to need some kind of distance something. I want to add back the dead zone. This is more of what I had in mind for movement. Like this guy right here is going too fast now. And it's sort of launching himself. Maybe even less force. A good sort of rule of thumb when you're fiddling with values in games is just go for an order of magnitude change in size. There's no sense in fiddling around with small numbers. Just try a really big change and see if that helps. And then if it's too much, try halfway. If it's not enough, like add another order of magnitude. I want to see that to be a lot shorter. See what that's like. Around here, I want to attract back in. Yeah, that's not too bad. This should mean that they don't get bunched up too close, but also don't really move that far apart. I think I'm going to try it in release mode. And we're going to try it with our 16 tester asteroids. Come on, do something cool. All these lines are really confusing. I'm going to turn them off. Can't see what's happening. And just for performance reasons, we can get rid of these as well. So I think what's happening here is that the outer asteroids are trying to get closer to the inner asteroids, sort of squeezing everything. But if I give them a little bit of a bump, maybe they'll stop doing that. Stop spinning, you crazy asteroid, you. I sort of like that they're moving on their own. Makes it feel like this place is actually alive and doing things. Before it was very much like I start movement and movement only happens if I interact with it. This gives it a slightly more chaotic feel, like it's actually warping and changing as I'm, like, regardless if I'm moving through it or not. I think it is compressing a little bit too much. I have to figure out a way to fix that. Because like I don't really care if this asteroid is near this asteroid. I don't want that. I don't need that. I just want this asteroid to be near a few other asteroids. So maybe I can add an extra thing here. That is like if something gets just far away enough, it will say the distance is like 14 or something. We do nothing again because it's just too far away. I think there might be a smarter way of doing that and just having an asteroid pick the three closest ones or something. But that might also give you like an island of asteroids that are like staying away from you. I think this might do the trick. Try it with rendering on. See what it looks like. Oh, come on, Flash develop. No. Could have done that manually. It would have been faster. But hey. So if I send this guy off, I have to do it with the ship. It's like, you get away from here. Like, it's already connected to way too many. Yeah, that's not going to work. I wonder what a clever way of fixing this would be, because like this doesn't really make that much sense. Like it's moving too far away, so it's hooking onto these guys over here. Might have to actually keep a list or something of the closest ones. Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking as well. Chat is suggesting to add like a maximum number of connections for the asteroids. I'm thinking that as well. So asteroid collection, this little thing I added here didn't really do much, so we can just get rid of that. But the question is, I suppose I could repel from any number of asteroids, and if I need to attract, I'll just attract to whichever one is the closest. Does that make sense? I think it might. Another option is to make the repel force stronger and the attract force weaker, because the attract force is going to run all the time, or like the repel force is going to want to end, but the attract force is going to want to move into the repel. So if I just make this like 10% of the strength, that might help too. I mean, it's still going to want to tend to be like a big ball of asteroids. But that's why I'm thinking I'll make the repel force stronger. Maybe get rid of the dead zone. Try that again. Oops, that's not valid code. You make the asteroids a little bit smaller so I can see what's going on. A bit better because they're colliding so much right now. Is this the radius right here? Yes, it is. So we'll make them half the size. I think this is going to be the only thing we actually have time for today. Stop bunching up in the corner, silly asteroids. Did I just make it wrong and make the repel force weak? attract, repel. Make that stronger again. Make that a lot weaker. We'll see that what that does. Now they are definitely repelling. Until they are very far apart. Do that. See what this looks like. So they are going further and further and further apart. And now they're starting to lose connections. And now that number is way too big. Now they're repelling. We could also consider adding some drag to the asteroids that will actually make them stop as they're moving. That's because it will like shove them up to to a velocity, and because there's nothing is actually taking their speed away, it will just make them slide around forever. So we can try that, because now we have something that's actually adding energy to the system. I think that's on the body. Set linear damping. I love linear damping. Like, what is this value? 1,100 linear damping. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what that's going to do. Quite a lot, it seems. I really don't want to move now. Again, orders of magnitude. No, it is actually stopping a little bit. Makes it feel a little bit less spacey. But still pretty cool. I can shove them around, do stuff. Can't shove them that much though. And body set. Angular damping. Probably want to have some of that as well. If we're doing it for one, we should maybe do it for the other. So now they are moving apart at a rather brisk rate. But they are also sort of chilling out once they've moved apart, which is what I wanted. So that's cool. Maybe you can try adding, increase that a little bit, try adding this back in again. And still now they are attracting with a very weak force. So it goes like boom, big bang. Now they'll start attracting instead, which should maintain some sort of it's getting there. It's not maybe perfect. Like, this is a little bit too stiff still. But it is, something's happening. I mean, I can easily shove these around. Let me turn off that debug drawing so we can see what's going on. Where did you go, debug draw? Here you are. Oh my, we're almost out of time. And I'm thinking Make this weaker again. Now let's move apart a little bit. There's really no reason to do these calculations every frame now. I could do these every second probably, and it'd be fine because they're not moving around that fast. So one thing that happens now is that they are trying to stay at a fixed distance from each other. So we get this, like this emergent pattern of there being a path between the asteroids, which is, it's cool, but maybe that's not something we want. Maybe this is a little bit too exaggerated. It looks really fake or something. Like it looks like it was designed, and it, I mean, I guess it was in a way, but could make that a little bit more ad hoc. So we can add back in the dead zone, maybe see what that behaves like. All the asteroids. Hey, Danny the Cake. And Inky String as well. Sad that you have to go. I also have to go pretty soon, which is unfortunate if you just joined. So this little bit right here is going to be the last bit we do, and then I have to go to a meeting. But it's going to be a cool meeting, so that's fine. I'm excited. So now we can sort of see them gather back together, which I kind of like. I wish I could fast forward this and see what it would look like in... I suppose I could lower the quality, maybe improve the frame rate a little bit. I think it's not going to go much faster than this. So now they're bunching up a little bit more, which I like. I mean, there's still room to maneuver between them. Or into them, that's fine. So, but they are staying together in a nice way. And I can shove them apart if I want to, and they'll just like work their way back into some sort of order, which is cool. And also this, like the camera would probably be way more zoomed in if the asteroids are going to be this size. I want them bigger on screen. It's like an asteroid would maybe be the size of all of these guys together to get like the sense of scale. Because these guys are too small, I think. But if I start slicing something up in here, I mean, that's also a problem. Like if an asteroid's small enough, I could probably just ignore it in the spacing and just have the others just save myself that effort. But this is pretty cool. This is sort of what I hoped for. It's a little bit too stiff still. There's so many numbers to tweak. The native build, if I want to up to frame rate, native build won't help. But actually, the native build runs slower than the Flash version when I'm streaming, and I have no idea why. I really don't. That's going to be a non-issue with my new computer, hopefully. I can do this in a way smoother fashion. But the game is running pretty sluggishly right now, even when it's running at full speed. It's sort of like turning is slow. And I mean, it's in space. There's bound to be some inertia, but this is just too much. Like I'm pressing right, now, pressing the other direction, and it takes that long for me to actually change direction. Which is, I don't know. but it's also like it's adding to my velocity the entire time. There's no max velocity for the player, so we just keep accelerating forever. So the longer I have to actually get my speed up, the longer it will take to brake in the other direction, which is fixable. Boom. Come on, collide. It'd be so cool. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'll try see what it looks like with bigger asteroids. I mean, I'm gonna have to deal with variably sized asteroids eventually. So I'm thinking I might just store on the asteroid the size of it. Did I buy Dragon Age? No, I did not buy Dragon Age. I shopped for enough money today, I think. Let's do full screen. So this I'm pretty happy with this. These little asteroid guys are trying to stay apart. I think the spawning algorithm is going to need some work. Right now I'm just spawning them in one giant pile. You can see them be all like jumbled up when I reset. And then the physics engine just deals with that and makes them move apart. But as soon as I like poke them around a little bit and give them some space, it will sort of works itself out to a much nicer arrangement. So I'm pretty happy with this. This is going to be a good foundation to build off of. I'm going to need variable distances depending on how big they are. And some other stuff, but this is a fairly good foundation to build upon. That does it for today's stream, I think. I'm sorry I had to change up the schedule on you like this, but it's for a good cause. I will be streaming next week again, next Thursday. Yeah, you can catch up with the stuff I did last week. All that stuff's on YouTube. I'll post a link in the chat when I'm done here, and this video will also go up on YouTube probably in a couple of hours. And I'll see you guys next week. And if you have any questions, just drop me a message here on Twitch or on Twitter or whatever you prefer. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for watching.